XY 44, 45, 46. Here also 44 XX 44, 45, 46. A female child. More about the sex determination and the phenomena associated with it we will learn in detail in chapter 5, Principles of Inheritance. Pregnancy and the development of embryo. After the implantation, finger-like projections appear on the trophoblast called chorionic villi, where it is surrounded by the uterine tissue and the maternal blood capillaries. The uterine tissue become interdigitated with each other and jointly form a structural and functional unit between the fetus, the developing embryo, and the maternal body is called placenta. Let us try to understand the structure of placenta. Placenta is a disc-shaped structure. It is a connecting link between the mother and the fetus. So this is the disc-shaped structure that forms in the uterus, and this is the maternal endometrium, and this is the umbilical cord. From there, the trophoblast layer, it forms the chorionic villi that develops, and you can see the chorionic villi, and this is a chorion which is enriched in blood capillaries. That blood capillaries are joined together from all the chorionic villi, and it is moving through the umbilical cord. And this is the trophoblast of the embryo, and the amniotic membrane which encloses here, and thereafterwards the amnion is forming, which is filled with the amniotic fluid later. So here from we can see the circulation from the fetus. Fetal circulation reaches up to the placenta, up to here, and it stops. And you can see this is a maternal blood circulation, maternal or the mother blood circulation. There is no direct connection between the maternal blood and the fetal blood. It is not directly mixing up. The maternal blood reaches up to the placenta, and the fetal circulation up to the chorionic villi, the blood capillaries. From there, the materials are exchanged by the process of diffusion. Now we can see this pictorial representation would be a little more clear. This is the placenta, the connecting link between the mother and the fetus. Umbilical cord is connected to the navel of the fetus. You can have a look into the diagrammatic representation of human fetus within the uterus. The embryo development within the uterus. You can see this is the uterus, and this part is the endometrium of the uterus, and the red colored part represents the uterine cavity, and this one is the embryo sac where the embryo is enclosed inside it. This is the amnion, and it is filled with the amniotic fluid, and the umbilical cord is connecting between the embryo and the mother, that is to the uterus. It consists of blood vessels, capillaries, that is connecting to the fetus and ends in the placenta. It is enclosed here, which is connecting exteriorly through the cervix region to the vagina, that is closed with thick plug of mucus by the action of progesterone hormone, and it would be only removed at the time of parturition. The functions of placenta are respiratory, nutritive, excretory, enzyme production. It acts as barrier, so we can say that barrier function, and endocrine function. So these are the functions of placenta. Now let's see the respiratory function as the exchange of oxygen from fetus, this is mother and fetus, and you know the placenta is here, and through the umbilical cord. And this is the placenta. Respiratory in function means the placenta which act as the lungs like function they are providing, that means helping in exchange of gases. That means the mother will provide oxygen to the fetus, and fetus will release carbon dioxide to the maternal blood. Through mother's blood, maternal blood will bring oxygen to the fetus, and the carbon dioxide formed here will collect through this umbilical cord, and it's sent through the placenta to the maternal blood. So respiratory function. Nutrients are provided from mother's blood to the fetus. Nutritive in function. Excretory, as we know that the fetus, as a result of the metabolic activities, metabolic reactions that takes place in the fetal body, to the blood, the waste materials are collected, and that will be sent from the fetus to the mother. Through this placenta it is released. Waste, nitrogenous waste materials are removed, so it is excretory in function. Early stages of the fetal development, the fetus do not have the enzymes that produced in its body. Some sort of enzymes are necessary, and that will be produced by the placenta. So enzyme production, and the placenta act as a barrier to protect the unnecessary harms or germs, etc., which enter into the fetal body. So it is barrier in functions. Last is the endocrine function. The placenta is also acting as an endocrine gland. The endocrine function of placenta. Different types of hormones they are producing, which is the human chorionic gonadotropin. And next is the HPL. HPL is human placental lactogen. Apart from that, it also produces estrogen, progesterone, relaxin, etc. So these are the endocrine functions of the placenta, which producing HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, HPL, human placental lactogen, estrogen, progesterone, relaxin, etc. Progesterone, relaxin, etc. are the other hormones that produced by the endocrine function of the placenta. Progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, and these hormonal levels are high during the pregnancy period, that is in maternal blood. Apart from that, some hormones which are only producing during the pregnancy time, that are HCG, HPL and relaxin. So these are the hormones that especially producing during the pregnancy period only. Pregnancy is the period in which a fetus develops inside the woman's womb or uterus. The fetal development period from the time of conception until birth is called gestation period. Human beings, the gestation period is 280 days or 40 weeks or approximately 9 months. Embryo differentiation occurs soon after the implantation, and the blastulation later will change into the next stage, which is the gastrulation, where the basic germ layers are formed. The basic germ layers are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Some of the cells have the potentiality to become some organs, and they are called the stem cells. Innermost cells contain 7 stem cells, and they have the potency to become tissues and organs. So they will become some tissues and organs. Now moving on to the next is the embryonic development. From zygote, a fully developed embryo or fully developed fetus is forming, and that is known as the gestation period. Now let's have a look into the summary of the development of the embryo within the uterus, the development of the fetus, development of fetus. The 9 months of pregnancy period can be classified into 3, that is first trimester, second trimester. The trimester means it's a period of 3 months. So the first trimester, which lasts from first to 3 months. Second trimester is 4 to 6 months, and third trimester is 7 to 9 months. 7, 8, 9. Total 9 months are there. Now let's see the development of fetus. At the first month, heart forms. The first sign of the living fetus is the heartbeat. At the end of the second month, limbs and digits are formed. And at the end of 12th week means the first trimester, most of the organ systems are formed, and external genital organs are also well developed. And at the end of 5th month, fetus shows movement, and also at that same time, hair forms on the head. End of the second trimester, body is covered with fine hairs. Body covers with the fine hairs. Eyelid separates, and also eyelashes are formed. Eyelashes are formed. And end of 9th month, fetus is fully developed and ready for delivery or parturition. The gestation period in human beings, it is 9 months, as it is divided into 3 trimesters. A period of 3 months, that is the first trimester lasts from 1st, 2nd and 3rd month. Second trimester is 4, 5 and 6 months, and third trimester is 7, 8 and 9 months. During the first month, heart forms in the embryo. So which is the first sign for living fetus? Heartbeat. Okay. Then end of the second month, limbs and digits are formed. Hands, legs, fingers, everything will be formed. Limbs and digits. And at the end of the 12th week, that is the first trimester, 3 months when completes, most of the organ systems are formed, and also the external genital organs are well developed. Then end of 5th month, fetus show movements. The fetus start showing movements at the 5th month. At the same time, hair forms on the head. Eruption of hairs on the head is seen at the 5th month. And end of the second trimester, that is at the 6th month when it completes, the body will cover with the fine hairs. Eyelids are separated and eyelashes are formed. And at the end of 9th month, that is the completion of 3rd trimester, the fetus is fully developed and it is ready for parturition or delivery. That's about the summary of the developmental history of the fetus. And during this time, vigorous contraction that happens in the uterus, and these contractions will become more and more stronger, and that results in the expulsion of the baby out from the uterus. And this process is called delivery or parturition. The process of expulsion of a fully developed fetus from the uterus through the birth canal is called parturition or delivery. The parturition or delivery is completely regulated by a neuroendocrine mechanism. First, it shows a phenomena called fetal ejection reflex. What is fetal ejection reflex? It is a sign developed by the fully developed fetus and the placental hormones. The signals of parturition is initiated or originated from the fully developed fetus and the placental hormones in the form of mild contractions. That is called fetal ejection reflex. This fetal ejection reflex now triggers some signals to the neuroendocrine system that stimulates uterine contractions. These uterine contractions stimulate release of more oxytocin that triggers more and more contractions. This results in the expulsion of baby. After the fetal delivery, the placenta also, better to say, expelled out. Coming to the last is the lactation. The mammary gland also undergoes some transformations during the pregnancy time. It starts producing milk at the end of pregnancy, and this process is called lactation. The milk produced during the initial few days of lactation is called colostrum. The milk produced during the initial few colostrum is yellowish in color and it contains several antibodies in it. Why? Because the newborn baby or the infant do not have any antibodies in its body in order to resist the antigens. Therefore, through colostrum it is provided. It is actually an example of passive immunity, which we will read in more details in the chapter Human Health and Disease. That's about the chapter Human Reproduction. I hope that it's clear to you and you understood. We will see in the next class. Thank you.